So some major changes are about to hit YouTube. The FTC just pretty much smacked them down with a massive fine due to how kid content is managed. Now, I just discovered this obviously from the Philip DeFranco show. He had a post about it just yesterday. Chris actually sent me a text this morning saying, like, what does this mean for gaming? Obviously, because it has huge implications for gaming. It could go either negatively or positively, but we really don't know. Anyway, long story short, YouTube has given 4 months until these changes are really rolled into effect. Pretty much, it sounds like kid content is canceled all over the program. They're not going to be able to get targeted ads. They're not going to be able to get certain information. And really where this impacts gaming is they list games as one of those. So the question in the air right now is, what does this mean for gaming? What constitutes a kid's video, especially as it relates to gaming versus not? Do we have to start opening up videos with a swear word just so it's like, see, obviously not targeting kids? And this really got me thinking, and why I think this is really, really fascinating. And ultimately it could, like when I say it could go negatively or positively. The last time we saw a major shift in gaming on the platform was after the Logan Suicide Forest incident. Everything kind of leaned safer, leaned Fortnite, leaned Minecraft, even though Minecraft was getting crushed by Fortnite at the time, and even though it is now surging. Minecraft and Fortnite are typically viewed as safe, advertiser-friendly content. And with that, we saw the rise of Ninja, several other streamers. That just is not going to last for long. Now, over on Game Theory, Matt Pat put together kind of a thing talking about how this is actually impacting gaming overall, like where channels would be like focusing on like Mortal Kombat, or even I kind of talked about it with Borderlands, where, like that kind of mature content, it's not necessarily working in the algorithm. Now, you might be able to find it. It's obviously an algorithm, how it all works together. But the point is that leaning kid-friendly has been kind of the way to go. So the impact on gaming, when I say it could be very positive, it means that if we see games start to not necessarily get punished, you start seeing more content creators making content that is obviously not geared for children. And the big thing here, the big key takeaway is that they can still run ads, but they're just not targeted ads. And the real value in advertising comes from actually trying to advertise to somebody who might be interested in your product. Hands down, flat out, that's kind of where the money is. And the sad, unfortunate, truth about it is that YouTube streamers, we've all had this huge impact on the creator economy, but gaming as a whole. Games that tend to do better, have longer lives, are those live service games, the games that constantly get updated. And you might look at what I mean by a live service game as just a game that is supported after the fact, after a year, after 2 years, after 3 years, something that you can invest in, and then obviously your progress carries forward year over year over year. So this is where it gets interesting. If obviously you want to target a piece of content that is not geared to children, does this mean that we're going to see a resurgence in the teen and M-rated plus games having more content on the channel? How? Because you cannot determine who is really watching it. You can say, what's your age? And without some real true identity to the individual who is watching it, with that lack of anonymity, like there is a bunch of, scary kind of, ideas there just to all of a sudden start exposing ourselves to the internet. Sorry, my mind's going like a mile a minute here. And I'm just saying, like, the positive side, the interesting thing is that this would be like a rip, Fortnite, rip Minecraft in a way. Obviously, you would have to find a way to differentiate those games, and say that my audience is not kids at all. Otherwise, you could easily see that those contents, being that there's no money behind like the content creation of them, those creators and those people are going to go make something that's going to help them, especially if they're doing this full time, pay the bills and keep the lights on and keep obviously not ever getting off that hamster wheel. So here's where I'm at, is that we saw a shift obviously last year with it going into the kind of the favor of the advertiser friendly. If we see a shift going away from kind of kid-focused content, there's probably going to be a very small line, a very thin line that people can operate in terms of content creation and what kind of games people are playing, which then determines what games people are seeing, and which then determines what games the people are buying. That's, as sad as the fact as it is, I know a lot of people are like, oh, we want more single-player games, but a single-player game, you play it, and then you move on, and that's it. And that's why, like, yeah, you can win all the awards at once, but because that it just kind of exists, it's kind of like, yep, that was a really great movie, and there was never a follow-up in that way. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm just saying that I'm not saying I like it. I'm saying that that's what we've seen. That's why we've seen games that are streamable, have that multiplayer aspect. That's where people lean, because that's where communities end up being formed, which is truly quite fascinating. Where this, this could actually be, like, if it leans positive to where obviously, like a game like Borderlands, M-rated, a game like Gears, M-rated, a game like Mortal Kombat, M-rated. Like, if that means that advertisers come back and want to advertise on those games because there are people watching those games, then we could see more games like that, because that's where where the market goes, where the players go, where the money is. That's where people are going to go invest. This could be hugely impactful for like Epic, in the regards, obviously relying very heavily on the money that they're making from Fortnite. But imagine if this just was kind of that, it's never going to go away. People are still going to like it. People who like it are going to play it. That's going to be where it's at. But maybe a game like let's see, Apex Legends could end up surging through this, because it has that little heavier violence, less cartoony appeal. Like I said, there's going to be I'm wondering if there's either going to be a really, really, really thin line when it comes to what kind of games people are playing, or at the end of the day, if gaming is just going to die on YouTube. And maybe that's what needs to happen. I mean, a lot of people don't, or aren't satisfied essentially with kind of the state of games as they are today. And a lot of that could be due to the impact of social media. It could be due to the impact of the market over in China, and obviously the growing market in India. Like, there's so many factors that impact your daily gaming life that it's kind of hard to quantify in this. Just sit down and just get my thoughts out on camera. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to share those thoughts, because that, I think I would love, and I would love to know yours. Like, what do you think this is going to do? I look at, obviously I don't think the social aspect of games will want to go away. Obviously people want to look and watch for game content, but this could end up meaning that people are going to go find new ways to make content, or you see a shift over to Twitch, Mixer, and other more live streaming focused, as opposed to more video created content. And if there's less than that, if there's not, people can't, pay their bills who are, and and to be clear, we're not full time at this, but you can start to see, like, where if somebody was full time at it, they look at it and say, okay, how can I make sure that I make the mortgage this month? How can I make sure that I make rent this month and pay for the bills, and etc. And so that determines what content they end up making, like it or not. Like, people are always like throwing out like, you're doing it for the views. It's like, yeah, people. It's the silliest thing in my mind. Anyway, that's a whole other topic for a whole other day, because I don't know anybody who puts anything out in a public space and hopes to God nobody sees it. It just boggles my mind. But then again, I'm on one side of the fence, and I have, my perspective, and I'm not saying I'm right. Never saying that. Anyway, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hit me up on Discord. I might be hanging out in voice, just kind of talking about this. There's so much to unpack, and it's going to be interesting to see, because when they talk about games as a part of this filing, as a part of this fine, like, that's what we do here. So I don't know what it means, but regardless, I'm excited to see what happens. It's always interesting to see how everything changes. It's always in flux. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the comments. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.